So in this video, I'd like to discuss an issue that I had with this brand new AXA High Traction bottle dynamo. Uh, Basically, what the issue was I replaced an old AXA High Traction dynamo with this new one because that old one got damaged. So when I installed this new one, what I found is that when I went to go test it, I saw that the lights weren't working. So initially, what I thought was that there was a problem with the wiring. So what I did just to test the wiring is I took this battery pack out of a flashlight and disconnected the wires from the dynamo and just touched them against the terminals on this battery pack. And what I found is that the lights worked. So basically, what that told me is that the wiring was okay. Then I went to go check the terminals here, thinking that maybe I was not connecting power and ground correctly. I thought maybe I was connecting two of the wires to power and one of them, you know what I'm saying? I thought I was just making a mistake here. But anyway, after testing all that out, I ended up testing the continuity of the dynamo itself using a multimeter. And that was the last thing that I thought about doing because I was not expecting there to be an issue with this dynamo. But anyway, it turned out that the issue was indeed with this dynamo, and I decided to basically pop it open. And the way you got to take these apart is basically pop this bottom piece off because they're like glued together, and that's the thing that kind of makes it kind of tricky to take these apart. So I'm gonna do like a little bit of a demonstration using this old dynamo to show how I took apart the new dynamo. So in regards to how to open up this dynamo, I'll just say as an FYI, you do not have to undo that fastener. That fastener holds the field coils. Basically, it fastens the field coils to this base, and if you undo it, the field coil is like connected to the base with wires. So like if the field coil and the base separates, you might actually damage the wiring more so than it already is. So just to note, like you could leave that bolt in there and the field coils will come out with the base as one assembly basically. So anyway, the way I had to open up the dynamo is I took a utility knife and I kind of like drove it in there, like sort of into that seam kind of carefully, like try not to cause any injury and stuff. Like push it in there and try to like break that seal, and so basically I just went all around kind of slowly like that to kind of try to break that seal all the way around. And then I took a flat screwdriver and kind of tried to pry it open. This one is kind of like too thick, I think, but if you get a thinner one, it would probably work better. And then just I'm just gonna probably try opening it up all the way. So this is actually glued it back together, but this is basically the same procedure as I used for the other one. Something like this. This one's coming a little easier because I like took it apart once, like I mentioned like a couple of years ago. You got to be careful not so it doesn't slip. The knife doesn't slip on you and like you cut yourself. See here. Yep. So that's basically how it comes out. See. So now I'm going to go into like the issue that I found with the other dynamo. The issue was with the soldering joints here. The solder joints are okay. So I want to show what the issue was. So I'm just curious as to just compare these solder joints with the other solder joints. So I'm saying these solder joints look better. So I want to show what the issue was. So what I'm showing here is a video from when I took apart that brand new dynamo, which was not generating electricity. So basically I was looking it over and I noticed that one of those solder joints didn't look right. They look kind of blobby and stuff, and I think that's what you'd refer to as a cold solder joint. So the way I resolved that is I took a 60-watt solder iron, which is the most powerful one that I have, and I tried to reflow the solder and add some solder at the same time. The only thing is I'm not sure if 60 watts is powerful enough, because that copper bar that the winding leads are being soldered to is relatively thick, and it seemed like I had a kind of difficult time to get the solder to flow to that. So maybe a more powerful soldering iron would be necessary, or maybe it's just that I didn't use any flux or something. But eventually I got it to work. I managed to get the solder to fuse to the copper, and my soldering joints don't look the best, and I'm not really an expert at soldering this kind of stuff. And even though only one of those joints was like bad, I ended up redoing both of them a little bit just in case. So after I repaired the solder joint in the Dynamo, I went and I put it back together, and the glue that I used was basically what's called a super glue. And you know, I basically, like, when I put the bottom on, I put a little bit of super glue all around the base, and I kind of held it in position for like about a minute or so, and it seems to be holding quite well. So one more thing that I'll add is that when I took apart this old Dynamo like a few years ago, I put it back together using epoxy, and to me it seems that the epoxy was not as good as the super glue. So I guess like the super glue seems to be like holding it better than the epoxy did, because like it cures faster, and like from what I recall, like the epoxy didn't really adhere that well to this plastic. So I wasn't expecting the super glue to work this well, but it seems to be working quite well. So I guess, like, if anybody's gonna glue it back together, maybe super glue could work. It's probably a better option. I was actually thinking I would have to use something like acetone to like refuse this, but it seems like it's holding up okay. And the one more thing that I was thinking of was, since that previous Dynamo had a broken latching mechanism, I'm thinking that like a good way to prevent the latching mechanism from breaking would be to leave the Dynamo engaged. Like, if you park the bike in like a public place with where other people may like lean their bike or something against it, or you put it on one of those racks, it's probably a better idea to leave it engaged like this, because if something leans up against it, like, all the force is just going onto the tire. Whereas if you like leave it disengaged, like, and someone tries to lean against it, you might end up breaking that latch mechanism. So I think that's just something maybe to take note of. So maybe from now on, if I park the bike, I'll probably park it with the Dynamo engaged like this. So in conclusion, I would say that it was not a big deal to fix this Dynamo, but I was just very surprised that it had that issue in the first place. And in a sense, I was kind of relieved that the issue was just the solder joint, because I was expecting that the issue would be internal inside of the coil itself. But since it was a solder joint, I was able to fix it. So I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal, but it's still something not expected, because this is a relatively high quality, this is actually probably the highest quality bottle Dynamo you could get right now. And that issue with the bad solder joint is something you read about regarding like cheaper Chinese dynamos. You know, I wouldn't expect it on this type of dynamo. So I don't know whether or not this is a common issue or not, but it seems like a solder joint like that would be kind of obvious with any kind of like quality checks. So I don't know if it's put together by robots or something like that at the factory, and they don't really check like visually the solder joints, but visually it just didn't look right. So despite that issue, I would still say that it's like a high quality dynamo. I took it on a 25-mile bike ride and it had no issues, so I think it will continue to work. So one more thing I wanted to mention is that in general, it seems that bike dynamos and dynamo light setups in general seems to be kind of rare in the United States, especially this kind of bottle dynamo, meaning I can't really find it for sale in like shops, stores, or like USA based online catalogs. So I mean, the only ones that you could find like on Amazon for reasonable price are the cheaper Chinese ones, and I don't know, that's a totally different kind of issues that you could have with those. But I mean, if you want to get like the more kind of higher quality Dynamo light setups, it seems that you probably have to go to the European-based online catalogs. And the website that I've been using recently was like Trade In or Bike In. And right now, as of the time that I'm making this video, it seems like this is basically like the only place where you can get these things for reasonable prices. Because you can get them on like eBay, but the prices there are very high, so I would avoid that. And the one thing to note is that since this is being shipped over from Europe, the shipping charges are not that high themselves, especially if you bundle a few things together. It could be like $15 or $20. But the thing is that the shipping time can be quite long. In my experience, it could be like between 1 to 2 weeks, or in some cases it could be a little over a month from the time that you place your order and the delivery arrives. So that's just something to take note of. I mean, I generally always select the cheapest shipping option, so I'm not really sure if selecting expedited shipping would, how much faster that would be, but my experience is that it could be a bit of a wait. Sometimes maybe a week and a half, sometimes a month, or sometimes a little bit more than a month. So in case if anybody's curious, the reason why I replaced this old Dynamo is because this latching mechanism no longer works. As you can see, it's always in the engaged position, and I don't know what happened, and maybe something happened. They maybe leaned it up against something, and it probably broke that mechanism. But other than that, this Dynamo is still generating electricity just fine, and I probably put like over 1,000 miles on it, and so it still worked okay. It's just that the that latching mechanism, and I did mention already that I opened up this Dynamo previously. I think when I first got it, I opened it up to see like if I could get it to generate 12 volts, but I never really went forward with that kind of experimentation. So maybe in the future I'll try to do some testing to see if I could get it to generate 12 volts. Because there's a Zener diode in there, and I think if you cut it out of the circuit, theoretically it might generate 12 volts, but I'm not sure if it'll generate like 6 watts. Will it push, half an amp at 12 volts at a reasonable speed? So that would be kind of interesting to see. So maybe in the future I'll do that testing, because I think it would be nice if we could use this Dynamo to power those incandescent lights for the bicycles. Because right now the only option for 12 volt Dynamo are those cheap Chinese ones, and they're a bit clunky, so if this one could do it, that would be nice, but I have doubts because that coil was kind of small. So thank you for watching.